This is the 4-2-3-1 tactic that actually managed to get a 100% win rate in a season. If you guys do enjoy the tactics on this channel, be sure to leave a like, drop a little comment on what tactic you want to see next, and also subscribe and turn on notifications. But let's get over to the testing phase, where we're going to test with 6 teams. So we're going to kick things off with Stevenage, a team predicted to finish 20th in Sky Bet League 2. And if that's not enough, we did win that division. We also won the Papa John's Trophy. We scored 175 league goals, conceded only 21, and picked up 1 red card. In terms of the league table, we actually dominated. I mean, 136 points compared to Bradford City with 93 and Leyton Orient coming in with 89. An absolute thumping in the league. And going over to the team stats, we are going to be looking at very, very favourable in here too. 2.96. Literally, we might have actually gone invincible. We are going to look at that. Most goals coming in at 175. Most shots for at 1,125. Fewer shots against at 269. Best pass completion coming in at 87%. Most possession coming in at 65%. Most dribbles made at 782. Fewest conceded coming in at 21. And the most clean sheets also coming in at 26. Possession is a massive factor of this tactic. That's what I based the whole thing around. It's a bit different to the previous Ultimate 4-2-3-1s. It was very pressing based. This is a lot more tiki-taka based, and it absolutely dominates. But we will take a quick peek at this league table just to see exactly what we've done. Was it an invincible season? It was an invincible season. We drew 1 game, 145, and drew 1. That is absolutely incredible from this Stevenage side. And going over to the data hub, we are going to be looking at 3.8 goals per game, which is very, very impressive. Conceded at 0.46, over 24 shots a game, and a pass completion, as we saw before, at 87.64. Go over to the Sky Bet Championship and test with Cardiff City. Obviously not a favourite to win the league, but in this save, we did win the league. We won the Sky Bet Championship. We scored 126 league goals. We conceded 38, so not the best of the best, but still very impressive. 38's quite a good stat line for this Cardiff side indeed. In terms of the actual league table, we had a 15-point advantage over Norwich, who came in a very sort of, I guess, kind of a close second place. Then after that, no one was really near. So only Norwich to be the somewhat of a competition, but a 15-point advantage is actually quite big, to be fair. Going over to the team stats, they're going to be featuring in 5 of them. That is going to be the most points per game, most goals at 126, which is going to be 40 more than Norwich. Most shots again at over 1,000, so very impressive there. Fewer shots against actually at 349. And also the most possession coming in at 62. So really dominating the areas that we want to be dominating, what the tactic is sort of designed to do. That is scoring goals and obviously maintaining possession. And then stats like fewer shots against always are going to be quite good. When you've got the ball, you're dominating the ball. As it's always said, if you've got the ball, the other team can't score. Going over to the data hub, we're going to be seeing a little less goals, but still a very impressive amount at 2.74 goals per game, conceded at 0.83, so still way under a goal a game, over 21 shots, basically 22 shots a game, and a pass completion of basically 87%. So really good stats coming out from 2 very underdog teams in 2 of the English divisions. And we've got one more team to test with that is going to be sort of a mid-table to underdog side. And that is going to be Crystal Palace. A bit of a tricky team to test with, but I always see test with an underdog team in the Premier League as the hardest league in the world. This shows how good the tactic is. And this does show how good the tactic is, because we actually weren't far off winning the league. Obviously, not many points separating us at all. In fact, only a point separating us from second place as well. We also got to 2 cup finals and unfortunately lost both of them. Now, I did simulate these cup finals. If I was to play them, I'm confident we could have at least won one of them. The one against Brighton, we definitely could have won. We scored 89 league goals, conceded 52, so conceded a few more over in the Premier League, sorry, but that is to be expected with a team like Crystal Palace. Obviously, however good a tactic is, if you are going in as one of the weaker teams, you are going to concede few goals, but it just shows how good the attacking side of this tactic actually is, because we actually outscored some of the real elite teams in this division. In terms of the team stats, and one which I'm really happy to have, is not only most goals, but this one here is the real impressive one for me. We actually had, well, joint highest, 3 teams, all with 58. But for some reason, we ranked the highest, and that is absolutely incredible. So the fact we've got more possession, or not more, but the same possession as Man City or Chelsea, etc., shows how competitive this tactic makes any team really in that Premier League. And going over to the data hub, we're going to be looking at 2.3 2.34 goals per game, conceded at 1.37, roughly around 19 shots a game, and a pass completion again at the 86 to 87% mark. So very consistent stats across all three divisions. And considering we've only used underdogs so far, the stats already are looking very attractive. But you need to stick around because we're now going to get into slightly better teams, and the stats are going to blow your mind. And the first one we're going to go with is going to be Sparta Prague, obviously over in the Czech First Division. And we actually managed to win that. We also won the Czech FA Cup and also the Europa Conference League against Fiorentina. We scored 149 league goals, conceded only 17, and in terms of the league table, it's quite frankly embarrassing, as there is absolutely no competition. As you can see, the point gap that Slavia Prague put up is nowhere near what the sort of levels we were able to hit. And going over to the team stats, we're going to absolutely dominate these, as we do feature in 8 of the stat lines. That is right, 8 of them. Most points per game at 2.86, 149 goals, 953 shots, 206 shots, ranking us the best at fewest shots against. We've got best pass completion at 87%, most possession at 66, which is a staggering 12% higher than second place. Fewest conceded at 17, and the most clean sheets coming in at 22. Going over to the data hub, we're going to be featuring 4.26 goals per game, which is absolutely incredible. 0.49 conceded per game, a pass completion of practically 80%, and averaging over 27 shots a game. 27. And we then go over to the Scottish division with Celtic, and this is actually where we managed to win 38 out of the 38 games we played across the entire season. We also won the Europa League against Manchester United. Obviously, we won the Premiership, the Scottish Cup, and also the Premier Sports Cup. We scored 161 league goals, only conceded 14, and just the 1 red card across the entire season. In terms of the actual league table, it's got to be dominant as we maximise the points you can physically get from a league table. And we're going to go into the league table, and I will actually show you this because, as you can see, 38 wins, 0 draws, and also 0 losses. So we literally maximised the points literally possible to get in the Scottish division. And that is a massive accomplishment because however good a tactic is and however easy Celtic are to play with in the Scottish division, you rarely see 38 out of 38. Usually, you can go invincible, but you always pick up 3 or 4 draws, maybe even 1 loss on some occasion. But to actually win 38 out of 38 is absolutely incredible. And going over to the team stats, we're going to be incredibly dominant, as fewest conceded come in at 14, most clean sheets at 26, most possession at 68%, 6 more than Rangers, best pass completion at 88, over 1,100 shots, fewest shots against at 187, most goals at 161, and most points per game, obviously, going to be bang on 3. Going over to the data hub as well, we're going to be looking at 4.24 goals per game, conceded at 0.37, over 29 shots per game, which is absolutely outrageous. That is one thing which I've learned about this system. We are not afraid to take shots at goal, even though we are playing a tiki-taka based style. Pass completion, absolutely incredible as well. I know we saw it was 88, but I show you this as well, because it's actually on the verge of 89. So nearly averaging 89% pass completion and 68% possession. Then we go over with the last team, and that is going to be PSG. And I believe we did have a good season, nevertheless. We won the French League and also the Trophy des Champions. Not the best of the other 2 competitions, but I did include this because I believe this is the highest score among we've done. 180 league goals, 22 conceded, and 0 red cards. In terms of the league table, not even a competition. 112 points coming in. You're going to have Lyon coming in with 79, Monaco with 77. So no one even a fraction close to the levels that we managed to hit. And in terms of the team stats, it's going to be very, very similar. Nearly an invincible season again. You can tell that based off the points per game, by the way. Most goals at 180. A ridiculous amount compared to Lyon. Most shots at 1,044. Fewer shots against at 236. Most possession coming in with 63% of the ball. Fewest conceded at 22. And the most clean sheets also coming in at 22. Going over to the data hub, we are going to be looking at 4.74 goals per game, which is absolutely nuts. Conceded per game at 0.58, so very good defensively as well. Pass completion at 87.35%, so very good on the ball as well. And averaging still over 27 shots per game in this league. So this tactic really is the full package, guys. It does it with some of the worst teams in the game. It can do it with the sort of mediocre to sort of mid-table sides, and it can also do it with the elite. So if you are an elite side or even one of sort of like the top 4, you can expect these sort of stats. And trust me, you need to try this tactic out. So if you guys are enjoying the video so far, please do drop a cheeky like. We're going to go ahead now and watch a few highlights so you can see exactly how this tactic plays. So the first game we're going to watch is going to be Celtic versus Hibernian, obviously over in the league. And it is going to be Aaron Moy picking up the ball in the midfield into Abada, over the top into Kyogo. One little touch, two little touch, and a great finish down the middle. But to be fair, I don't know, could the keeper have done better? Possibly, but we're going to take it nevertheless as Carter Vickers wins it back into Johnston, back into Vickers, and we're seeing some of the build-up now, right into Turnbull, through right into Kyogo, and that is build-up from the back, literally defence split and passes, and honestly, it makes it look so easy. The way that we play out from the back with Joe Hart pushing so far up there, and the great thing about this tactic as well, as you've just seen there from Aaron Moy, is Jota pulls it back, and that is a fantastic header. We're not afraid to go long either, so one of the key things that made this 4-2-3-1, in my opinion, one of the best in the game, is just having that mixture of tiki-taka and also the opportunity to go long if you need to. And the thing is, when you're mixing both of those play styles, it makes it very hard to play against because you can't sort of counteract it, because it's not just, you know, side-to-side passing. If there's a long ball attempt, we're going to go for it, and that is why it's so successful. As Rio plays the ball now into Dazen, who takes a great first touch, into Ralston, into Jota, a little bit of tiki-taka, sort of like Man City in the box there, as Ralston eventually gets it in the back of the net. And this game was literally one-way traffic. No competition put up at all against this Celtic side, as Riley goes out wide now. He's going to cut it back inside into Kyogo, great little header into the bottom right corner, and what a game. And we're now going to watch a game with Sparta Prague. Obviously a 9-0 win, so quite a comfortable one. This is actually going to be in the FA Cup final, as we do win the ball very high up there with Pezek, who plays through Kutcher, who takes a great first touch and absolutely rockets it into the left-hand side. All of that goal comes from the pressing on the left-hand side, and it's something which we see so much in this tactic, because we nearly get another cheeky goal there. Comes off the post. He actually is going to cut it back. It's a bit of a scrappy one. That is a finish sort of on the off turn. That is a very weird sort of goal, as a all built up from hitting the post, but we're going to take it nevertheless, as it's going to be a little bit of a set piece action here possibly. It's going to go out into Sadiek, who's going to hit it on the curve, and that's one thing that I do like about this match engine this year. You are seeing some of the goals that go in look so amazing. You actually see the ball curve, which is really good to see, as we are going to see a bit of out wide play there, and it is shock and defending, but great play from us as well, as a ball just gets fizzed in across from Pezek into Janko, who obviously does finish it off. Building up from the back now into Pavleka, who actually goes long. I mean, he's an absolutely acres catcher. He's going to touch it down and thread it into the bottom left corner. And this game has been more of the direct approach, which does surprise me, because we did have a lot more possession with this team, but you can see how easy it is for us to break through this opposition, as we literally have 3 passes there, I believe, to get through to a one-on-one chance. And the way that we're finishing, it does not even have any doubt in my mind that when we go through one-on-one, we're going to miss, as we're going to score a penalty there. And at this point, it was 7-0 up inside of 56 minutes. So I think this team's morale is probably absolutely in the mud as we keep on going. I mean, that is fantastic play. How is that for a set piece? Tiki-taka from the set piece all the way through into Kutcher. And the last goal to come now is going to be Minchev on the ball through into Kutcher. Is he going to go alone? I think he isn't. It's going to cut it back, actually. Loads of space. And this is a very good picture here. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 players, 6 players, including obviously the ball player here. But we've got 5 players free in the box. That shows how good and attacking minded this tactic is. When you do hit on the counter, everybody flies forward, and you still have enough people back to help defend those situations. And I mean, these stats aren't even worth talking about. I mean, honestly, look at these stats. 4.64 XG, 63% possession, over 13 shots on target, 30 shots overall. It's an absolute stampeding. And we are now going to break down the tactic for you guys, but if you're enjoying today's video, please do leave a like, drop a little comment below on what tactic you want to see next, and also do subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. But let's go ahead and break down the ultimate 4-2-3-1 V3. So this is going to be the ultimate 4-2-1 V3. There is going to be 3 variants for the V3 for you guys to download. If you are a Patreon member, I want to thank all of the names coming down the screen right now. These are going to be either existing or new Patreon members. You can check out the link in the description. It's a great way to support me as a creator, and also you get some really cool perks, including early video release, early tactic release, access to all 3 of the files, one-on-one tactic help, also priority in tactic requests and tactic rebuilds. I'm sort of merging the 2, so I guess tactic rebuilds as well. And also, you're going to get entered to exclusive Patreon-only giveaways, so definitely check that out. You can see it in the link below. But we are going to go ahead and break down the sort of first variant of this tactic. This is the one which done majority of the simmer under, so this is going to be your bread and butter really. But it is built around a custom tiki-taka style. The mentality is going to be set to attacking. In possession, we're going to have fairly narrow, overlap left, overlap right, play out of defense, much shorter on the pass and directness, a higher tempo, be more expressive, work ball into the box, and also mix crosses. So you can see right now, this is definitely prioritized around a more tiki-taka approach. The passing directness is set all the way to much shorter, but also there's quite a bit of aggression in there, the overlap and fullbacks, the higher tempo, the be more expressive. It's a very aggressive tiki-taka tactic, so you're never going to find yourself in a situation where you're just endlessly passing the ball about and not progressing, because you are really setting yourself up to be an attacking team using this formation. In transition, we've got counter press, counter, distribute quickly, distribute to the centre backs and the fullbacks while taking short goal kicks. You might question, why have you got counter on if it's a tiki-taka tactic? That is because we don't want to just be a tiki-taka sort of pass it side to side team. As I mentioned previously, we want to hit on the counter attack, and we saw in them highlights how lethal we are when we do hit on the counter attack. So it's all about merging the two, that tiki-taka style and that passing side to side when you do need to do that, but also when you do need to go on the counter, you do need to get the goal. It can do literally everything. Out of possession, we've got the standard line, a high pressing line of engagement, much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and also get stuck in. This one here, you can take off if you are picking up too many bookings, but to be honest, in my opinion, it's always good to have a little bit of aggression, because it doesn't always mean you're going to get bookings and sent off by having that on. It just means your team's going to be a lot more aggressive and try and win the ball back quicker. Now, going over to the player roles, we're going to actually have a sweeper keeper on support, on tackle harder. Obviously on the default, apart from that, a lot of these players are going to have that on. On the right back role, we have a wing back on support, on cross more often, cross from the byline, cross aim centre, and also stay wider. We then have a ball playing defender on defend, on tackle harder, and next to him it's going to be exactly the same. So another ball playing defender on defend, on also tackle harder. On the left, we've got a wing back on support, on cross more often, cross from the byline, cross aim centre, and also stay wider. So that's going to be the back four. As you can see from the back four, quite basic, but very also they're quite attacking wing backs. They are going to get involved, and that's something which we do want to see. Into a midfield, we have a deep line playmaker on support, on tackle harder, and mark tighter. And next to him, a central midfielder on support, on dribble more, roam from position, move into channels, and also tackle harder. Going over to the left-hand side, we've got an inverted winger on attack, on cross aim centre, shoot more often, and also stay wider. Both of these wingers are not going to be afraid to sort of get involved in the game. One of them is going to be told to have for slightly more shots. And this really comes down to who has the better shooting in your team. So if your winger on the right has really good shooting, then I would prioritise telling him to shoot more often. It just helped for me having one winger that was also chipping in heavily with the goals. So that is the sort of thinking behind that. And on the right-hand side, we've got the other inverted winger on attack, on cross more often, cross aim centre, stay wider, and tackle harder. But as I said, you know, do choose, because you might have a right side winger that is working really, really well and is, you know, has got really good finishing. So in that case, you'd pretty much flip the instructions from wing to wing, if that makes sense. In the middle, we are going to have a role we don't really use too much. Obviously, it is going to be, I'm going to butcher the name, but on support anyway. Is it the enganche? I butcher their names all the time. Shoot more often, get further forwards, and tackle harder. This is a role I've been trying to sort of get in more and more often. I'm trying to test out new roles, and this worked really, really well. So I am going to stick with it. You could use other roles, to be honest. If you used a shadow striker, you might actually score more goals. I'm going to be realistic. But in my opinion, this worked really, really well. And to finish it off, the advanced forward on attack, on shoot more often, and tackle harder. So that is going to be the default version broken down. Of course, we are going to have a few more changes coming in for the defensive and attacking variant. So we're going to go over those right now. So for the attacking variant, we've gone a little bit not cautious, but the first one is obviously very attacking in itself. So there's only two changes coming in the actual player sort of instructions, and that is going to be a shadow striker coming in. I did just say previously a shadow striker probably would score more goals, and I do stick by that. So we actually had one in here now on shoot more often and also tackle harder. And then we have a centre mid on attack and he is going to be told to dribble more, roam from position, move into channels, and also tackle harder. Majority of the changes actually come in with the team instructions. Now, I want to stress this very, very, very highly. This is purely to use if you're desperate, you're trying to chase a game, you need a goal. I would not recommend going into a game like this unless you are chasing a game from the go. Literally, you're a couple of goals down on aggregate, because we actually do now have a very attacking mentality. In possession, we've maxed out everything. So we have got obviously the shorter, the higher tempo, be more expressive, pretty much what it is, but we have really maximized everything. In transition, distribute quickly, obviously going to be on because we are in a rush to get a goal. And this is where the real change comes in. The higher defensive line, the high press and line, still much more often, still prevent your goalkeeper and also still get stuck in. Now, yes, to answer questions, this is going to be very intense on your players. You are going to be very pushed up the field. And yes, you might even be a little bit vulnerable at the back. But this is purely designed in those last sort of 5 to 10 minutes. If you're desperate for a goal, you can switch to this and you've got a very good chance of getting one. If you imagine, just look at how attacking the team sheet looks. If you add in the mentality that we've got, the higher line, the aggression, we are going to be absolutely putting them under so much pressure. And a lot of teams, especially the AI, have a tendency to drop back, and that really suits the way we're going to play, because we're going to have so much pressure on them, just constant balls in the box, shots at goal over and over and over. Eventually they will crack. And now we're going to go over to a complete opposite variant of this tactic. So a little memory refresher. This is going to be the default one. The actual defensive one is going to look a lot different. As you can see here, this is now designed sort of to do the opposite of the attacking variant. So there's going to be a few changes coming in. The back line actually remains the same. The two in midfield switch up a little bit. So we've got a ball winner midfielder on defend, on mark tighter, and the default, a deep line playmaker on defend, on more direct passes, tackle harder, and also mark tighter. This is strictly the only real change to this is obviously is now on defend, not on support, and is also told to be more direct, because that is now we are setting up for a much more sort of long ball approach. If we are lucky enough to get a little break on, we're not really focused on, you know, keeping it as elegant in the midfield when we are defending so much. And then the wingers drop back to supportive roles on exactly the same, just a little bit more restricted, not as far-fetched forward. And obviously, we don't have the shadow striker anymore. And that is going to be the player roles broken down for the defensive variant. Pretty much, we just restricted the wingers and dropped the two a little bit to be the two in midfield a lot more sort of restricted as well. And it sort of forms a back six in many aspects. The mentality is going to be set to balanced. In possession, we're going to have fairly narrow, slightly lower on the tempo, because now we are just sort of trying to not completely sit back, but not be as aggressive all the time. When we have the ball, we're still going to have much shorter on so that we can pass it side to side here and there. But we are literally now just trying to not waste too much energy, not go out of position by pressing too much. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do. We still do have that slightly pressing aspect in, but it's not all maxed out now. We also opt for having dribble less, because this encourages pass and play, and also be more disciplined alongside of the time wasting being set to frequently. In transition, we've actually got counter press, hold shape when we have got the ball, slow pace down, and still distribute into the fullbacks and also the centre backs. And out of position, we have got the standard line, so it's obviously not the high line like the attacking one, still the high pressing line, still much more often, because we still want that side of the game. Just with the tempo, we've lowered it a little bit so it's not completely maxed out on the players. And we've still got to get stuck in because I want to win the ball back as quickly as we can. And if we have to take a booking, we have to take a booking. Simple as that. But at the end of the day, I am very confident in saying this is one of the best, in my opinion, the best 4-2-3-1 I have personally made on this game. It's absolutely incredible. It took absolutely weeks of tweaking and testing to get it to a level where I was comfortable it was better than the V2. The only reason I release different versions is if I genuinely feel like that version, which I'm now making, is better than the old one. Obviously, I'll not make this one if the V2 was better. And I do think this is going to be the last variant of the 4-2-3-1 because it can't really get much better than what this one is. But that is going to be it for today, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed the tactic breakdown. If you have, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And I will catch you in the next one.